Hello, Zeb Aurelios from Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to Inside the Force. Carabas. Gotta go, Hera's here.
It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Welcome back, everyone, to Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome back. It is nearly the end of May, and we are 7 months away from episode 8. I think Casey's mentioned this before. We got a little countdown on the website going, so it's actually 210 days away from episode 8. Eagerly anticipating some more stuff from that over the next few months. I guess I still think Comic-Con is probably the next
big thing.
Next big thing.
I mean, D23. It's almost.
That's after Comic-Con.
Yeah,
right?
I get the sense that Disney's trying to push more, make D23 bigger, like in that sense, where they reveal.
Where is D23 held at?
I don't know.
We should probably know this information, right?
Yeah, I'm a bad Star Wars fan.
Look, D23 is that conversation was not in our notes to talk about, so that's why it's a little off the cuff.
Oh, come on, yeah, it's great. It's D23 Expo.
Yeah, I think it's in the same spot every year, right? Is it Anaheim? Yeah, I was thinking it's somewhere in California, LA,
July
Anaheim.
14th through 16th, Anaheim.
Wow, that's like right
pretty
next
close
to Comic-Con then, because that's usually July as well.
Yeah, this year it is. Yeah, it's pretty backed up to each other.
Okay, well, so we might be getting either way, we're getting stuff at the same time then, probably. So, San Diego Comic-Con this year, I bet you it might be the same weekend. I'm looking it up right now, and it doesn't tell me the dates. San Diego Comic-Con, WonderCon's obviously the same thing, but no, it's July 20, so it's the week after. So that's first.
Ooh, might get a little scoop then, D23.
Yes.
But anyways, let's talk about some news.
Yes.
Throughout the movie world of Star Wars. Now, Episode 8, as you said, is coming very soon. There is really nothing new with that. So I mean, people are still trying to dissect and trying to figure this and that out about the film based off what we've already been shown. However, nothing has really helped in that. Really, the big news kind of coming out is Han Solo, the Han Solo movie. That's still kind of releasing things here and there. Last week, I barely mentioned that on eBay, a guy who worked on the film released some concept art that he was selling, and that kind of showed us first glimpses of ships and somewhat of a glimpse of Han Solo, how he's going to look in the film, possibly. So it's out there. You can look at it. It's pretty cool. It's I talk a little bit about it on our website. But this past week, there was a quick little interview with Woody Harrelson about his character on Harrison Ford. I'm sorry, I'm looking at a picture of him. Woody Harrelson, about his character on Han Solo. And in it, he describes his character as being a good guy, which is very surprising, actually. Because knowing Woody Harrelson, knowing his acting history and all that stuff, he kind of has a history of playing a good villain. He also has a history of playing a good guy. But he's so good at playing a bad guy, for some reason I was just assumed that he was kind of playing a mean guy. I mean, he says he's Han Solo's mentor, and I was just trying to speculate, thinking like, he might be kind of the guy who teaches him the ways of the smuggling world, and something happens. Maybe he kind of somewhat is a bad guy and influences Han Solo in a bad way, and then Han Solo has to turn on him and fight him, and to escape. I don't know. Maybe he owes him a debt or something like that. But anyways, Woody Harrelson describes his character as having a good heart. He is a mentor to Han and a criminal, but he has a good heart. I mean, he's a good character. So it's, actors sometimes will say that about their characters, even if they're villains. They kind of look at it from their own point of view, because to a villain's point of view, they're not necessarily a bad guy. So maybe Woody Harrelson is saying that from the bad guy's point of view, or he generally is a good guy. So that kind of changes my perspective on the film and some of my speculation about the movie. And we shall see if he truly is a hero of sorts, or if he's kind of the anti-hero or the gray hero, you could say. Not gray Jedi, but gray hero. That's a whole other thing altogether.
That is.
So we'll see. He plays a character named Beckett, and he definitely is a mentor. But regarding hero or not, because there's one thing I've been thinking of is for this Han Solo movie, if you agree or not, I don't know. But in the time that we saw Han Solo in the films, it was always kind of, he's always said it, and it's always kind of known that he was a smuggler, he was a scoundrel. It's how he's always described. And yet in the movies, we never really saw him be a scoundrel. Never saw him be that kind of anti-hero, honestly. He's kind of described as some of an anti-hero, but we never really saw it. He was kind of rough and tough, kind of a bad boy, but he didn't really do anything bad. We saw him in A New Hope right when he was making that turn of being a good guy, and that was a story arc. But we never saw him do anything. So I would love, in this Han Solo movie, to see Han Solo in that bad boy mode, kind of, sort of speak, where he is making those morally gray decisions, where he is maybe doing the unethically bad thing, the not heroic thing. I want to see that somewhat villainous side of Han Solo, that smuggler scoundrel where he's breaking the law. That's his living, to break the law. So I want to see that side of him. That kind of gives credence to all the hype of his character from the original movies. And I know some people out there would say, well, we would have already gotten that had he had shot first. Because that's the whole argument about that, is that the Han shooting first and how that was taken out completely changes his character. Right. Where he's not the BA guy who just straight up shoots you, essentially murders you, to save his own neck. In Cold Blood, he shot Greedo. Where now we see it's like he shot in retaliation. Somewhat retaliation. It was very in sync shooting. But I agree, that does change his character, because if we had seen him do that, then I would already have that in the back of my mind, knowing, okay, Han Solo is this bad guy. And he just will straight, like Cassian.
Yes.
Being of Rogue One. He just killed a guy.
That's right.
Murders him. So that really shapes my perspective on Cassian, whereas Han Solo, you didn't have that. So maybe this is the time where we will see stuff like that in the Han Solo movie.
So this could then technically justify not shooting Greedo first.
Maybe that's gonna, you know what? The story group's very good at that. They might do that in this movie. They might, justify why he wouldn't have shot.
Because I would add to that, saying that what we read about Han beyond Return of the Jedi, I mean, technically you could say that the original trilogy changed him, but he's become, at least you kind of see, based on some of the stuff in the books, that he isn't this ruthless, murderer, killer. He's actually, he just lives that smug life. Yeah. But
I know, in the books, like Bloodline Aftermath that we're reading right now, he's always talking about how he misses that life. He's always torn between the good, honest, responsible, life with a family,
right,
versus his smuggling life. It pulls him. It's like, well, again, we never really saw his smuggler life, so how can we understand what he's going through in a way? I don't know.
Correct.
But yeah. So really, news in other movies out there is really not much. However, there's one thing that was kind of talked about on the interwebs about The Last Jedi. I just now kind of remembered this, but a week or so ago, I mentioned, and there's an article on our website about it, where it was kind of revealed or leaked in a way where Making Star Wars Net found out that Luke is wearing this necklace. That's a red crystal necklace.
Yeah.
and kind of speculate and theorize. Hey, what if it's the Darth Vader crystal? Wouldn't that be kind of cool? And people on the internet kind of ran with it and were like, oh my gosh, is this really how it's going to be? Maybe it is. Who knows? I was under the impression. I know there's several people out there. News sites were also in agreeing where most likely it's not Vader's crystal. Because his lightsaber most likely was gone at the end of Jedi. But someone asked Pablo Hidalgo, and he finally put the kibosh on it and said, yeah, that lightsaber fell at the bottom of that chute and it blew up. So, no, basically, that's his answer. So, please.
So the crystal's gone.
Yeah, the crystal's gone. The lightsaber is destroyed, which also means in Aftermath, the first Aftermath book, the Acolytes of the Beyond, when they thought they have Vader's lightsaber, that's not Vader's lightsaber either. Which they kind of said that anyways.
Have you read? That's in Empire. Then
they go back to it.
Yeah.
So they don't have it. Vader's lightsaber.
They have
gone.
a red lightsaber. It's just not Vader's.
Exactly. So crystal's gone. What Luke is wearing in Last Jedi is just a red crystal. Maybe it is a crystal.
Wait. But it has been confirmed as red.
I think that Making Star Wars Net. I think they were pretty sure that it was red. I think that's what their sources said. Maybe they, maybe they got the color wrong. I don't know, but I think that's what their sources.
Because I was thinking
red.
it could be. I just throw it out there, but it could be from his green lightsaber.
Yeah, could be. Now today I did read from Making Star Wars Net. Like they must have some cool source.
Yeah.
in the film, because talking about other little props that Lucas has on Octo Island, however you want to say it, where he has like a staff that zaps little creatures as he's walking around.
Luke does?
Yeah, like he kind of attaches it to his belt like a lightsaber. He has other little things like a backpack, a compass, like it kind of goes through all his little props there. So I would love to have a source like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing huge, but still it's kind of cool to inside intel. But thank you, Making Star Wars, for reporting that. But that's pretty much news of the films. There's really not much that is being told to us.
Huh.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Nothing. All's quiet on the Rebels front as of right now. Mm-hmm. Didn't get a chance to watch Star Wars show, but I think they interviewed one of the producers on the Forces of Destiny series, right?
Yeah.
Which, again, I think that's coming this summer, right?
It is.
Yeah. But I think the big news, other than everything you just mentioned, is the new comic series.
Yes, the published an article.
Hitting our, yes. So if you haven't seen it on our site or read about it, it's basically one that I am stoked about.
Yes.
Because
surprised to get this.
Absolutely surprised. We're getting a Mace Windu series. But it's actually called Star Wars Jedi of the Republic. Mm-hmm. So it may not be Mace Windu specific necessarily.
I mean, I think he is.
But actually, I'm sorry, it is Mace Windu because it's a 5-issue miniseries.
It's 5-issue miniseries. He is the main character, but there are other Jedi involved, new characters that we will get to know that will kind of also carry the story that Mace is kind of leading.
Is Mace Windu going to come back?
I want it. Samuel Jackson wants it. And the world wants it. So Lucasfilm should want it.
But it'd have to be like the ultimate, to be honest, the ultimate story would be, and they could do this in a comic as well, but like, for example, Charles Soule's Vader series that's starting up. Mm-hmm. You know, that's like, he dubs it like Year One Vader.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, he's obviously hunting down the Jedi that are scattered out there, right?
Yeah. What if he sees Mace?
What if he hunts down Mace? Mm. And we get that. Because I think we even said this on our commentary. But what should have happened in Sith was that he should have blocked Mace's, not cut his arm off, but blocked, and then they should have fought. Yeah. And he should have struck him down. Yeah. Like, if you want to talk about turning the dark side,
yeah,
he should have killed him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
So, but like seeing Anakin fight Mace would have been, oh man, that would have been. But then we might get that, right? If Vader hunts them down.
This is it.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
A one-armed Mace, or you know, obviously he just gets a robotic arm.
Sure.
No big deal. But anyway, 5-issue miniseries coming in August. And it's going to be written by Matt Owens and illustrated by Dennis Cowan.
Dennis, yeah.
So starring fan favorite Mace Windu, Master of the Jedi Council, taking with Jango Fett and Darth Sidious, and picks up right after the start of the Clone Wars, as the Jedi Order faces possibly its greatest threat. So the first cover is out. Yeah, so he's pushing the Force, pushing
Very
all these
sweet.
droids.
Now, the first thing that I thought of when I saw this cover, and I wonder how many people out there actually thought the same thing. Let us know if you did. But the Clone Wars
Macro
series.
Yeah.
There are some people call it the Gendy series because Gendy's the guy who made Samurai Jack in Dexter's Laboratory. There was an episode there where Mace Windu was on. I can't remember what planet it was.
I thought it was.
I cannot remember.
I thought it was Ryloth for some reason.
Maybe. But Mace Windu was in a swarm of hundreds of battle droids, and he took them all out without a lightsaber. Well, he had a lightsaber for some of it, but I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, he took them out a lot of times with a force, and like pushing and like, oh, it's so cool. One of the best episodes of that whole series. So it's like mostly silent because it's just Mace kicking butt and taking names. So I thought of that when I saw this cover.
Yes.
And it's also making me think of a lot of things about Mace Windu that was in Legends that I kind of want them to incorporate into canon. I'm sure a lot of the fans out there would want it the same because Mace Windu had a couple things that was very famous about him in Legends in EU back then. It was two things. One was that his main ability that he kind of has above everybody else in the Force, you know, so people can see the future and that kind of stuff. Like Ezra's got his animal kind of communication powers, whatever.
Yeah.
Mace has what's called Shatterpoint.
Shatterpoint.
He can kind of read and see shatter points in the Force. Now, this is essentially seeing weaknesses or, you know, it's described as fault lines in the Force, where if he's in like a certain cross point or a certain moment and maybe he's coming up against a certain bad guy or he has to make a big decision and it's for crisis, whatever, he will get kind of clairvoyance in the Force about maybe, you know, either a certain path he could take or a certain weakness he can strike, a certain decision he can make that would drastically change the course of events that he's currently in.
Right.
Shatterpoint. It shatters the point, you know, whatever. He has that ability in the EU, so that kind of, you know, people, I hope they kind of bring that into canon. Another thing that he has is his form, his style, his fighting style.
Yes.
Form, I can't remember the number of it, but it's called...
well, he knows them all, obviously, but Form 7, I think, is what he's...
7,
yeah.
It's Vapid,
yeah.
Vapad, however you want to say it. I've only read it, so I've actually never heard it spoken. But this form is so cool because it really teeters kind of on the path of the dark side in a way. You know, part of it kind of allows you to accept, if not enjoy, combat a little bit. And kind of in the heat of the moment, the action of it, and give in to the heat of the battle just a little bit. You know, it's a fighting style form that is kind of known to not. And I think Mace Windu is the only one who's mastered it without falling to the dark side. Everybody else who has mastered it has gone to the dark side because it just brings out that side of you. But Mace, he kind of channels it, filters it out, and still is able to master this fighting style. So very cool. Just kind of it really shows you how awesome Mace Windu is and how incredible, you know, how wise he is, how powerful he is.
So it is canon.
Yeah, the form is canon. Correct.
Yeah. Form 7, known as Juyo or Vapad.
Yeah.
Vapad.
Right.
Was the seventh form of lightsaber combat. It was considered the most aggressive and unpredictable form. Mace Windu
Does it say he
was
used
a
it?
notable practitioner of Form 7.
Oh, great.
And the sources is absolutely everything you need to know.
Oh, so it's not an actual book anywhere, but it's in that. I remember seeing the forums in that. And
It's in that. It's in that. And then the other source is the character encyclopedia.
Okay, so
updated and expanded. So
it's in the encyclopedias. It's not in the novel yet to
Not
show
in-
him how he uses it. Yeah,
correct.
so hopefully we see that.
So this will be the first time
Yeah.
we'll probably see him use Form 7.
That's kind of my hope with the series is that we get to know more about Mace Windu. Obviously, we get to know more about how he views the Force, how he uses the Force, his teachings, if that's at all possible to see in the story. You know, because I would love to hear him describe Form 7 and describe how he uses that and how he kind of like channels that somewhat dark side of the Force a little bit just to get what he needs. But
There's still just 7 forms.
yep.
So they kind of stuck with that.
So I'm very excited about the series. Another part is, it's supposed to take place right after Attack of the Clones. Like basically one of the first, if not the first main mission, I don't know, of during the Clone Wars, led by Mace Windu. So it's a great opportunity to see how the Jedi are acclimating to war. They've never known war before. Battles here and there, skirmishes probably on like local planets, if something got out of hand a little bit, but not full out war. So these peacekeepers are flung and pushed into this world of violence. How do they cope with it? So hopefully this story will talk about that because I would just love to know that kind of psychology of the Jedi and know how they deal with it and how they compromise their beliefs to fighting. I mean, Mace Windu, it seems easy enough because of his fighting style allows that. But the other Jedi, who knows? Maybe a lot of them don't. Maybe they're they're pacifists in a sense. So how are they going to fight? Very excited about this. 5 issues. It's in August, I believe.
Starting in August.
Yeah.
So that'll run right through January, I think, right? August, September, October. Yeah. So, actually, no. Finish in December. Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
When episode 8 comes out.
Ah!
Okay, so that's pretty much all the news. Gaming wise, you can pre-order Battlefront 2.
Yep.
Get that
Done
going.
it.
I've actually been playing a little bit of Battlefront here and there because I'm still stuck on. Now I'm really actually just focusing on the diorama.
Yeah. Unlocking those.
Yeah. Some you can just get by playing, rank 50, 75, and then killing a bunch of rebels or stormtroopers. But there's one I'm really focused on, which is the one. I think it's one of the first ones on the thing, but it's where you have to play the original 9 games that came with it.
Yeah.
Supremacy or Walker Assault. You have to win each one of those 10 times. And I've got them all 10 times except the hardest one, which is Hero Hunt, because there was only one winner.
Yeah.
And that is hard. Have you played Hero
Yeah,
Hunt?
I have. It's very hard.
It is hard. I will say, because I only have one win right now.
Yeah.
And I got my one win. I wanted to tout this a little bit. But
tough.
because usually unless I've been fortunate enough to where I've started as the hero. Mm-hmm. And most of the time it's either like Hoth or Tatooine, and it's just wide open. And I mean, if you have a lot of people there, and so sometimes you can get lucky when there's only 4 people in there, and then you have
pretty well.
Yeah, and you had a good chance. But usually when it's full, like 16 people, and it's like just
they're all coming after you.
It's like you can't do nothing.
Yeah.
But I got fortunate because it was Endor. Do you know Endor has that inside facility around the shuttle, the Imperial shuttle
Landing platform.
So it's weird. I didn't really understand, but depending on the map, it's whether or not you're a villain or a hero, right? So Endor there, you're a villain. And I was like getting ready to select try Bosk or Krennic, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do Palpatine because he can heal himself. So I chose Palpatine, and at the time, again, when we started, I noticed that there was only 5 other people. So I'm running around, and then when they show up, I'm electrocuting them. and I've never really used Palpatine before, but man, he is crazy good in close quarter.
Yeah.
And but people were trying to shoot me down the hall. He's got that
corkscrew kind of thing.
No, not the corkscrew, but he throws lightning. One of the special moves.
Yeah.
Is long distance, and it just kills him instantly.
Yeah.
And then you can get away by
yeah. That the good go-to movie did in Sith there. Yeah.
Yes. So what I'll do is I was killing people, and then like when I got down to like 50 health, I would just heal myself. Mm-hmm. I got 50 kills, which wins the game. You either highest at the end of time, or you get 50. I didn't die. I killed.
That's awesome.
As I got to like close to 30, then more people started joining the game, I guess, you know. So I got to like 10 people trying to kill me, and I just was, it was crazy good. I was like, wow. And you unlock, by doing that, you unlock all these different achievements.
Yeah.
But anyway, I haven't come close to since.
No, that's very hard.
It's very hard. Ugh. Because in open spaces, I don't know who I tried Leia. She can hit her.
Yeah, she's good.
But you get people close on you, you can't do anything with her.
Yeah.
And then Luke, if you can get lucky and just run around and just saber some people here and there, run around, that's what everybody else does. So, but it's fun. I mean, you can, one of the other achievements, dioramas, is actually defeating heroes. Mm-hmm. So I actually was able to defeat some of them, and I unlocked. I think it's Nien Nunb is one of those is that one. Anyway, but I'm trying to unlock some of those. That's really the only thing else I can do. I don't,
Yeah, and now you get the campaign.
I
and
know.
You got other things you can do.
That's what I really want to do is a campaign. So I want to move into just the last couple of topics here, but as we're finishing up Aftermath, Empire's End, the third book, which is phenomenal.
Yes. Favorite.
Yeah, totally. It keeps just getting better and better, but the culmination of this whole thing is heading towards the Battle of Jakku, which ultimately is going to, watching episode 7, it's going to change how you perceive that battle, right? I mean, and this in Gallius Rax, and this new character that is kind of the mysterious character with Palpatine. But anyway, the big thing about what's cool about the Aftermath books was I wasn't really a fan of in the first one was these interludes,
right? Yeah, to know where they were going.
Yeah, and it seems like they're connected.
It's many stories, little subplots in a sense. Yeah,
completely different stories. Yeah. And it always mentions the location. Tatooine has been some. That's why I think it was Life Debt, the second one, where the supposedly Boba Fett armor.
I saw the first in the first.
It was in the first book.
Very short one. Yeah.
So
it's been in all three.
Malakili. Yeah, that was kind of centered on him, the guy that had the Rancor that died. Luke killed.
Yeah, kind of the new crime lords of Tatooine.
Yeah, because the Hutts are gone, so they're like, so they've done the Acolytes series, kind of, which culminates in this. I don't think you've gotten there yet on that one.
No.
But so there's one in this book, Empire's End, that's on Christophsis, and you brought this up that and I actually kind of read past it, I guess, or listened past it because I didn't catch it, but you brought it up, which. Go ahead. I'll let you break.
So spoiler, whatever, of Empire's End. But
But this has been a little bit of a debate over the past.
This has been a debate. I didn't think there was much to debate about. Because
is this why it's been brought up? Because we're just not getting to it.
I mean, it was brought up with Ahsoka, but Empire's End wasn't out back then when that season Rebels happened. Now it's out, so people are talking about it even more. So this idea of, dare I say it, gray Jedi. I never thought we would talk about Grey Jedi on the show because I didn't think they were real. Legends, sure. Grey Jedi were a thing. EU, yes. Canon, no. Maybe until now, though. So in the past, people have been talking to Pablo Hidalgo on Twitter, asking about Grey Jedi, if it's real or not. In particular, like how would you refer to him as? Would you refer to him as Grey Jedi? What does Grey Jedi mean? Is it canon? And is like Ahsoka a Grey Jedi because this and that? And Pablo basically squashed it and it's like, no, she's not a Grey Jedi. She's just Ahsoka. She's not in the Jedi Order. She's not Sith, but she uses the Force. She's just a Force user, and her name's Ahsoka. So that, to me, that squashed it. No Grey Jedi. However, I'm reading this interlude on Christophsis and Aftermath Empire's End about this guy bringing Kyber crystals, this team of people who kind of belong to the Church of the Force, bringing some Kyber crystals that the Empire stole back to Christophsis in the cave, and they're kind of running away from the native creatures of the land. Anyways, they make it to the end there. This one character is trapped in this cave, and he's kind of describing his surroundings and all this kind of stuff. And I will read to you a couple passages from here. So the character name is Adar, and so here's the passage. So it says, with that, Adar begins taking the crystals out one by one, setting them down into the cave from which they had been taken years before. He sets the disc to project the holoform. They've been watching these holoforms of Church of the Force holoforms. He sets the disc to project the holoform once again. He tries not to think about how this is the place where he is going to die, or in Bryn's words, where he will join soon with the living force. All hail the light, the dark, and the gray. And that's it. And I read that, and I was like, what? And then my buddy Cody heard me, and I had to describe it to him because he's been reading about Grey Jedi as well, so he was also equally shocked. So does this confirm Grey Jedi? I think it does. Pablo, I need to read about see exactly.
Which again, repeat the actual definition of a Grey Jedi.
I don't think necessarily if there is. I mean, the definition is legends. It's a legends definition. There's nothing canon about it in Wikipedia. There's nothing there yet.
Oh, it's nothing there yet?
So,
wow.
In Legends, the term Grey Jedi has two meanings. It was first used by Jedi and Sith to describe Force users who walked the line between the light and the dark sides of the Force without surrendering to the dark side. And the other definition described Jedi who distanced themselves from the Jedi High Council and operated outside the structures of the Jedi Code. So, however, those who were considered to be true Grey Jedi met both qualifications and did not belong to any particular Force tradition. One example, from the KOTOR games, Jolee Bindo, former Jedi, became a Grey Jedi. You know, he was in the second KOTOR game. Sorry, not the second, the first one. I can't remember. Those games run together to me. Jolee Bindo, yeah. First one, I think it was Kashyyyk when you found him. So, so people ask, did Ahsoka become a Grey Jedi? Is Qui-Gon technically a Grey Jedi because he defied the Council so many times? But he still clung to the Jedi Order in a way. He still believed in the beliefs. Ahsoka sharp walked away from it. So, this has definitely changed some things. I mean, I don't think it's a huge, crazy deal necessarily, but it definitely now leads credence to the idea that Grey Jedi are probably a real thing, and it's something to consider. I need to go and read now about. I may wait till the end of I finish Empire's End for fear of spoiling anything, but I need to now go research this because now it's probably a thing. So there's light side of the Force, there's dark side of the Force, and there's a gray side to the Force. Maybe that's what the Bendu is.
Right. And I think a lot of people have mentioned that. They think Bendu is. So
that's where we are now, I guess, in Star Wars world. There's
did you realize I didn't put this together until I read it again? But did you realize that in the original screenplay, when it was The Star Wars, remember they made that comic adaptation of Lucas's old script, right?
Yeah.
And the Jedi were actually called Jedi Bendu.
Right.
Not just Jedi.
Yep. I forgot about that.
Right. So I read that again. I was like, oh, wait a minute. The Bendu was actually been around for a while.
I'm the one in the middle.
Since the beginning of that, anyway.
So very cool. I think again, there's definitely something there. We need more stories to explain this.
Yeah.
So whether it's stories with the Bendu or just with Grey Jedi or just this whole idea, I mean that just keeps expanding. It keeps expanding. I love it, but hopefully it won't mess things up. So very cool.
Very cool. So last thing we want to mention, a little bit on the, we talked about, I think in the last episode where we were going to do commentaries again, leading up to episode 8. So each month, we're a little behind in this month because we kind of just came up with the concept, but each month, since there's 8 months leading up to episode 8, we're going to do commentaries for each of the films again. I say again, the 6 that we've done before, but we haven't done one for Rogue One, and we haven't done one for episode 7 yet. So But there'll be us and a guest as well each time. So we'll have 3 of us that are sitting down watching the movies and commentating. So technically, May, we're going to focus, we're going to do episode 1. We're going to start with the first one. And Casey brought up something this week about, I guess, a podcast or something you heard about talking about the heroines of Star Wars and how it seems a lot of the stories now are centered around female heroes.
Right.
Obviously, Rey in the new Star Wars trilogy, and you got Jyn. But then you got prominent ones like in Rebels, Sabine and Hera.
Yeah.
And then the novels are focusing a lot on heroines.
Yeah, this was a Rebel Force Radio episode. I believe it is their most recent one from last Friday. I mean, yeah, I feel like it is like an obvious observation now. People are seeing a lot of stories now featuring females. And kind of when we were at Celebration, it really became apparent, even more so, that they are really emphasizing female heroines. And it's kind of redundant, heroines of Star Wars. And there was even a panel about heroines of Star Wars. And this is what the Rebel Force Radio episode was about. And they really talked and dissected it and kind of discussed it a little bit. And I, listening to that and then kind of just reading and following some things online, there was a tweet by the site 1138. Let me pull it up here as I'm talking about it. So 1138, it's their Twitter handle is 1138 ATE. Pretty clever. They tweeted out an image. One of the guys there had done some research and has literally gone through the movies, TV, the games, the adult novels, young adult novels, the middle grade novels, you can call it, like the Wild Space books, and I guess Guardians of the Wills is technically one of those, and some of the Journey to the Force Awakens books. Gone through and figured out, the main characters of those books and movies and stuff, and the lead characters, and kind of did a ratio of male to female, and did a little thing. So, in summary, we'll go through it a little bit, but in summary, this guy found roughly, give or take, maybe a few percentage points here, but 42% of the new canon material, including movies and TV shows, 42% of the main / lead characters are female. 42%. The rest are male. And that is just from the new canon material that we've gotten thus far. The books, mini books, and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot. That's almost half. I would actually think it's a little more than that because of some of the choices they made in classifying who's exactly a main character and a lead character in these books, and we can talk a little bit about that. And the Rebel Force Radio, we're talking about how just talking about the pros and cons and really dissecting it and that kind of stuff, and made me think about it. We even talked about it over Celebration, when Forces of Destiny was released, when Battlefront 2 was announced, female audiences. Correct. We're thinking wow, they really are trying to emphasize this, and that's awesome. That's totally cool. But there's always questions of how much are you going to do? Are they doing it just for the sake of doing it, or does the story allow it? Which is story groups. That's always their explanation and their motivation. So it's great. Rey is amazing. Jyn was an awesome character. I'm very excited about Battlefront 2 and Iden. This character Iden, and I think that's going to be awesome. Ahsoka's incredible. Going through all this and that, but also I kind of think I don't want to anger a lot of people. I'm not going to say anything insane, but I still believe that Star Wars did have a pretty strong female character list before the new canon. All this new stuff came out. Obviously Princess Leia is the best. Yeah. One of the best characters ever, let alone Star Wars, but just characters and females and all that stuff. But I just want to take a chance to not to neglect other female characters in the story. Particularly, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong here, but Padme. Padme doesn't, I don't feel like, get as much love as she should. She's definitely a very strong. She plays that damsel role just like Leia did. she plays it very well. But in the original trilogy, I'm sorry, the prequel trilogy, Padme is a very important character, and she's very strong, very independent, very strong-willed. She's the queen, and she's the senator, and she's a huge part of the whole story. And I feel like she should get a lot of awesome recognition. Also, Natalie Portman should get some good recognition for her performance in that. But there are not many other female characters, I guess. Especially the Empire side of things. We never really saw. I don't think at all. We didn't see any female characters on the side of the Empire. So some people thought that they didn't exist in the Empire, but we now know that they very much existed during the entire course of the Empire. Ray Sloan, of course, being one of them. But now we've gotten some also good hero female characters. But I don't know. What do you think about this push for the female characters?
Well, yeah, I think it's definitely something that we've acknowledged, and I think a lot of people have acknowledged. And I think it's, again, I think, again, not knocking it or anything, but I think I think a part of it's a marketing ploy to get younger females,
sure.
Little girls into Star Wars. Come on. How many kids did you see dressed as Rey?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Even last Halloween, right? I mean, my daughter we went to Disney last October, and she went as Rey, and there was plenty of Rey costumes, So, and this year you're probably going to see a lot of Jyn, probably, Jyn Erso costumes. So it's worked, I think, but you still see a lot of little girls dressed as Leia as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely working. You're getting a whole new, that side of the audience. And of course, guys, we don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, Star Wars is Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that Jyn Erso was a female lead, that doesn't neglect the story at all or change the story at all. It's not like, if that was a guy, he wouldn't have done that, And it's like, at least I know we don't think like that. And we think of what's best for the story, how you want to portray these characters. I think Rebels, I think Ezra is the main character in that story, but Sabine, her story has been really huge in those, especially last season. But it seems like Hera's a big part of season 4.
Yeah.
Because as we know from Forces of Destiny, she extends beyond episode 4. I mean, she's all the way to Endor, And in the Aftermath books, it's all female. You have Nora Wexley. You have Jazz, who's a female bounty hunter that helps. And then you have Ray Sloan, which is the Grand Admiral.
Yeah, and that's actually kind of one of the differences. This guy, he made this spreadsheet very quickly. He says so. Of course, give him the benefit of the doubt, but his main lead characters for Aftermath, he puts Nora, Timon, and Sinjir. So I would definitely say maybe just Nora and Rey, the main character from the good side, the main character. From the bad side.
Absolutely.
So
Sinjir is not. I mean, he's part of the group, but he's not the main character.
So
I would say Jazz is even more of a main than Sinjir.
I would right there say that 42% actually is a little higher.
I definitely agree. And then you've got the Ahsoka book. You've got Rebel Rising just came out. You've got
Dark Disciple's one of
Dark
those.
Disciple.
And a new Dawn. Hera's in that. Catalyst. You have Lyra in Catalyst.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stories.
That's great.
That are female. Yeah, it is great. But I agree with you. I think that as we talk about commentating for episode 1, I think that Padme is essential, and I think she suffers from the people disliking the prequels.
Yeah,
because I think I don't think anybody complains about Padme. No one complains about Obi-Wan. No one complains about Padme. Everybody, everybody's on Jar Jar and possibly Anakin. For the Jake Lloyd, unfortunately, and Hayden Christensen, but I think Padme, Natalie Portman, obviously is one of the most brilliant actresses we have in our lifetime right now, and I think Padme. I mean, did you read though? I did hear.
I know what you're talking about.
The story about the change in episode 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say because this is a good topic. This definitely relates. Yeah, the original. Well, not even the original, but one of the potential endings.
One of the potential endings
for Revenge of the Sith. Because kind of backstory, George Lucas had his storyboard artists kind of make storyboards.
Yes.
Before the script was even finished, and so the guys kind of had to go forward with what they thought the story might be. And so one of the idea for Padme was that she kind of caught on to Anakin's fall to the dark side very early on. And she somewhat turned against him because of it, but kind of kept it secret. And then at the end, on Mustafar, she came to him on Mustafar, knife in hand, basically, all kind of secret, and she had it hidden. But then she whipped it out, held it to his neck, and Anakin's basically like accepting, like, okay, I will let you kill me. And she doesn't because of her love for him.
Mm-hmm.
So she was about to kill him. That was kind of the one of the endings that might happen. Some people were saying, "Oh, that would have been so cool! Like if Padme had done that, why would George Lucas not want to do that?" And I was listening to other podcasts talking about this, and some other guys raised good points about kind of defending George Lucas's reasoning, why he kept it the way it was. Instead of that, you get the Anakin, "You're breaking my heart," which people think is one of the worst lines ever in Star Wars.
Yeah.
So I definitely, again, I'll try to find here which podcast it was, but this podcast, the guys were talking about their reasoning, and it was very good in terms of Padme's character, where it really wouldn't have been in her character to all of a sudden just do a complete 180 on Anakin and love of her life. All of a sudden, she now is ready to kill him.
Right.
Totally change her whole mindset on him. That really wouldn't have worked for that character. So, George Lucas really made a good decision in her throughout the entire movie always fighting for Anakin instead of fighting against him. Even at the very end of Revenge of the Sith, she's lying on her deathbed. Last words were, "They're still good at
Good at him, right.
That would not have worked and would not have had as much impact as if she had tried to kill him moments earlier. At least in my opinion. So, and these podcasters' opinion.
That's very true. No, that's very true. I mean, I think it was a good. I think the way it went down was fine because I think it was Padme again showing her compassion to still try to save Anakin. And what'd she say? I mean, let's go. Let's leave all this behind and go. Get away from it all. Raise the kid. Yeah. She's thinking about the kid. Ends up being kids, but Anakin. But Anakin makes the mistake of thinking that she set him up and sees Obi-Wan and then basically almost kills her. I mean, she dies in childbirth, I guess, with a broken heart apparently. But I'm
sure the crushed esophagus probably didn't
help. So yeah, I think Padme. Again, and we can probably talk about this a lot more on the commentary too. But she's episode 1 was just the beginning. I mean, she becomes she would have been a very strong voice in the rebellion. She was, the deleted scenes of episode 3 had her meeting with Mon Mothma and Bail and other senators about this possible union of people fighting against the at the time it was just the Chancellor powers
and trying to force him to drop it.
Correct.
He said he would. Yeah, emergency.
There wasn't no empire even at that point. So she's been a voice. She was a senator or a queen when she was really young. Senator when she was in her teens still in a sense. So I mean it's just it really did. Even though she never really knew her, you understood than where Leia got her.
Exactly.
Right?
Very yes.
I mean, she's very.
Yeah.
Leia is her daughter. I mean, she's got a lot of those characteristics in her.
That podcast I was listening to, it was the Star Wars Report, so that's where it came. They were kind of talking about it as well. But no, I really want to see a story about, not necessarily about Padme, but about Luke and Leia finding out about Padme and learning more about Padme.
Right.
It's Bloodline was mostly about the revelation of Vader as Leia's father to the public. But I want that side, but Padme.
But see, if I remember correctly, Bloodline told us that she never was told much about her mother.
I didn't seem like it. She knew about it at some point.
At some point she finds out, but I think it's after Bail dies.
Yeah.
After
I think
growing up, she's never asked or never.
She never knew.
Never knew.
But it wasn't hidden that she was adopted.
Correct.
From her.
It wasn't just revealed who her mother was. Yeah. Right? Because they had to keep that secret. Unless
it was information that we just don't have. But yeah, to our knowledge, yeah, she wasn't.
Because in Bloodline, she was since she's royalty in Alderaanian, she was inheriting this title or this lordship or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And with that, there was some artifacts, old artifacts in there. One of them was a hologram from Bail.
Yeah.
That told her about Vader, right?
Yeah.
That's how she found out about Vader. Was her not how she found out, but she found out. That was how
found out.
That's how the public found out. That was how Bail was trying to tell her before, obviously, Luke did.
Yeah. So it's my impression that she found out about Padme after Return of the Jedi. I don't know.
I can't remember. Bail says something about that too, about how you never asked about your mother and you never, you told us we were your parents, kind of thing. But it was good to know. So, but Luke, we don't know. I don't think we don't know.
Yeah.
When he finds out, how he finds out.
Yeah, because he's not around. So
yeah, he just goes.
But in the Leia comic, she even had a moment when she was on Naboo and she felt the presence. She felt Maul's presence, but she also kind of felt presence that could be or she saw. Didn't she see actually a picture of?
I think she sees a picture of her
mural of Queen Amidala.
Yes,
and she has like a connection there or something like that. So,
but she doesn't know at that point.
No, she doesn't. So it's
that was right after Alderaan.
Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see her just a story about her connecting with that knowledge that Padme was her mom, because it is such. I feel like for her that would be such a crazy awesome revelation, and
totally.
for her to really come into her own characters, to know who her mother is, and to know that it's something as important as Padme.
Yeah,
really cool. We need that story.
And it's actually cool to know. It would actually cool reveal for her too, to be like, you know what? I wasn't actually adopted into royalty. I was a princess.
Yeah. So she should be.
She actually is a princess.
Yeah, princess of
Naboo. Right? I mean, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, several princesses, I suppose, are elected, aren't they? Are they technically elected? I mean, I don't know how that next queen got.
Actually, I think it is elected. Actually, I think it's an elected title.
Got to learn more about the governance of Naboo.
I think, for some reason, I want to. Is there something somewhere about being elected? No, didn't they say that? Yeah, didn't they say that episode 2? I
feel like they did.
I was the youngest elected,
something like that,
queen or something like that. I think she says that to Anakin.
Must investigate further. I'll write that down.
But you're a queen. I mean,
yeah.
That means your kids are princesses, right? Prince and princess. That means Prince Luke.
Prince Luke. Yeah. That'll be cool.
Anyway, so we'll dive more into some episode 1 stuff as we go. Our commentary we should be doing here shortly, and that'll be again a video we're going to be putting on our YouTube channel. As we shape that up, we'll let you know as we go on. So, all right. So thank you guys for listening. That will be it for us this week. Looking forward to some more talking Star Wars next week with whatever news comes out, plus some more topics. If you get a chance, wish Casey a happy birthday this weekend.
Hey.
God, how old are you going to be now?
26.
26?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not old yet. Trust me.
I don't feel it. I feel young.
I was
man.
actually I said the same thing to people at work. I was like, yeah, because I'm gonna be 40 this year. See, I was born the same year as Star Wars, right? I turned 40 this year.
Yeah.
So, but I was thinking, I told everybody there, I was like, I feel like I don't feel any different than when I turned 30.
It's like good or bad thing.
I think that's a good thing, right? I mean, I went to the doctor for the first time in forever just recently, and like nothing's wrong with me, so everything's
Good.
healthy.
Good.
So I feel like I'm doing everything right. I mean, all these Diet Cokes may affect me in one day, right?
Diet Coke.
But no, I think so. Happy birthday, Case.
Thank you.
I'm sure we're gonna get together. I'm sure this weekend.
Yeah,
but
and I mean May 21st. So if you're an avid Star Wars fan, you should know
Yeah.
I wasn't born in 1980, but Episode 5 of Empire Strikes Back came out May 21st, 1980. So I share a little bit of a
none of the
shared
prequels
birthday.
came out on May 21st.
I don't think so. May 19th, which is tomorrow, was Episode 3, and I think another one. I think there might have been 2. I don't know. One or 2 that came out May 19th, but Episode 3 is May 19th.
It's close.
So it's the anniversary for that.
And Lucas's birthday was this past week. George
73.
Lucas's,
73.
Yeah, what day was that? That was
Quick research.
I think it was the 14th. Is it a week before yours? I think it's the 14th, but I'm not 100% sure.
Let's find this really quick. May 14th, 1944, 73.
May what?
May 14th.
14th, yeah, that's what I thought. So
Desto, California.
you almost share Lucas's birthday.
Oh, man.
1 week late. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Go to InsideTheForce.com. All of our episodes there, as well as our articles and updates and news that Casey's been posting. I'm going to need to post some stuff. I know Casey put some stuff on this Mace Windu thing, but I got some opinions about that I'm going to put up there, I think.
Good.
Good. We're shaping a lot of stuff for Inside the Force, so we might be adding a bunch of new content hopefully here soon. We're talking through it. But either way, go there. All of our socials on there: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and we got several ways you can hear the show: iTunes, obviously, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, Google. The website's got every episode on there, so check it out. Casey's Kryptonian1138 on Twitter. I'm DCottyM21. Thanks for listening, everybody. For Casey Cooley.
I was not elected to watch my people suffer and die while you discuss this invasion in a committee. Good old Queen Amidala quote. Haven't done her. I don't believe I've done her yet.
Yeah, that's good.
Quote. She has a lot of good quotes, actually. I feel.
She does have great quotes, yeah. Now I was trying to think of one, but I can't. So.
Thunderous applause is like the biggest one probably out there.
Oh, right.
That's how democracy dies.
Yes.
Right? By thunderous applause. Something like that.
Yeah.
She's a good one.
All right, guys.
Anakin, you're breaking my heart. Which I already said earlier.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Take care. Have a great week. We will be back here next week. He's Case.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm Dave, and may the Force be with you.
Thank you for listening to Inside the Force, a Star Wars podcast hosted by David Cottingham and Casey Cooley. For more shows, additional content, articles, and the latest Star Wars news, please visit InsideTheForce.com. Inside the Force. For the Force, then all of us.